Good afternoon, everyone. Before I get started, I just wanted to remind everyone to stay on mute. There are currently 90 individuals on, so it just gets a little bit disruptive if there's people that are unmuted, a lot of background noise. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, just type them in the chat if you can, or at the very least, put your hand up. We'll try to get through the questions as they come in, but depending on how it all works out, we may wait to the end. So we'll see how it goes during the presentation. So I'm Joanne Hughes, the Capacity Development Coordinator at the OFA, and I'm pleased to host this Lunch and Learn about one of our newest OFA member benefits, AgExpert. Laurier is an AgExpert product specialist and passionate about agriculture. He grew up and still farms part-time with his family on a grain and oilseed farm in southeastern Saskatchewan. Laurier holds a master's degree in professional accounting and has been with the FCC for just over 18 years. Being bilingual, a farmer, and an accountant, Laurier takes great pride in presenting FCC AgExpert at trade shows, speaking events, and universities across the country. Laurier, you can take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanne. I hope everyone can hear me well. My name is Laurier Poirier. Yes, it does rhyme, but I've learned to embrace it, and that is my signature now. Today, I want to talk to you guys about Ag Experts. So, as Joanne said, pop the questions in the chat, and I'll probably have this for about 40 minutes, and then there'll be time for questions after. But if there's something relevant, Joanne will interrupt me. Um, it is my great pleasure to talk about AgExpert. AgExpert is an accounting system and it's a field record keeping system. So it is part of Farm Credit Canada, and the whole reason it was acquired, so the software was acquired 22 years ago, was to really give Canadian farmers an advantage over the rest of the world into giving them the right tool to be able to, manage your finances and your field record keeping. And I'm here to demonstrate that today. So rather than thinking this is a sales pitch, I am going to tell you the cost right up front for the bundle. For both accounting and AgExpert Field, the total you're going to spend is $499, or just for one of them, it's $399 a year, and that's a year. I know that there's some sticker shock because other softwares out there are very, very expensive. I think we are very, we're just priced right in the market right now. So, and on top of that, the promo code that we have for OFA members is AgExpert OFA, just all one word, and you'll get 20% off of this. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because sometimes people are always looking for that other shoe to drop and thinking that there's a catch. Well, I'm telling you up front, this is a very reasonable software for everything that it can do. So I am going to switch right into the software. How this works, it's just like your bank account where you actually, the first time you're going to sign up. I'm just at www.agexpert.ca. You're going to do the sign up part first. Don't have an account, sign up. Email address, password, first name, last name. This is going to send you a bounce back email to your email account to make sure that it's you. And then you just enter the software and start working. So it is all online. There is a mobile app for both accounting and field. I'll talk about those in a second. But we're here to be the partner in your pocketbook and to really be there for Canadian agriculture. So I'm going to take you guys through probably about 20-25 minutes of accounting first, and then I am going to jump into field. I have been asked to. I just want to kind of do some of the first steps first, and and then we'll take questions, and I'll take you guys wherever you want to go. I have been uh, a farmer, accounting background, and I've been product owner for this on the technical side as well. So please, if I can be stumped, I would like that. But I really know the software, and I like to share it with you all. So the very first step, I'm going to switch accounts. Um, and the very first step that you're coming in, because some people still do it with pen and paper, some people use it with Excel. And accounting software is kind of that next step after Excel, because Excel is a great tool as well. It's better than pen and paper. But then I've used Excel for a long time, and one bad formula somewhere, kind of does mess up your things. Where in accounting software, all the formulas are laid out. You have a set way of putting in your transactions, and so I'm just here. So we do have a wizard. So people who are afraid to come in and start a software, your very first steps are a wizard, unless you've been with our software in the past. We do have a desktop software that does not require the internet. And if you've been using that for several years, you can just upload all of your data into here and very seamlessly. But if you're just moving over from pen and paper or Excel, this is a great time to start, a great place to start. So the way this works is, let's set up your books. We have a wizard, and I'm just going to give it a fake name here, Sunny Acres, province of Ontario. Business type, I am going to go sole proprietor. Your year end, so someone who's starting first this year, I would recommend just go to last year's December 31st. And this is personal preference, and it's something you discuss with your accountant. But I like to encourage people, put 2025 as your first year. And the reason being is when you get your books back from your accountant in February, March, then you can just go into 2025, put those final numbers from the accountant, and then you're good to go into the new year. You can even start entering transactions for 2026 before you've done that. But I digress. So this is setting up your books. You'll go next. And here is where you basically build your chart of accounts. So if you grow grains, oil seeds, and have dairy cattle, you would just click those things, or anything else that is specific to you. Go next. So let's say you grow some winter wheat and some corn, of course. Because like I said, AgExpert, the software existed before FCC bought it. And over the past 20 years, we have a pretty good idea of what expenses and the chart of accounts needs to look like for the things you're going to click here. So I'm just going to go a little bit faster here. Milk cows, heifers. I'm just going to click them all and then go into the chart of accounts and show you. So once you've clicked everything that applies to your business, you're going to click Start Using AgExpert. And this is going to create a chart of accounts. It's about even faster than how I've been talking about it. So this is a fresh chart of accounts. I'm just going to go into the chart of accounts. Chart of accounts, for those who don't know, is just where everything's classified, like your bank, your checking account, your investments, your receivables. I like to go through and show you that, AgExpert being designed for Canadian agriculture, we do inventory very well. Other softwares are more generic and don't get the interplay that Canadian agriculture has with inventory. And so, as you can see in our chart of accounts, my wheat and my corn and my soybeans all have accounts ready to go. Also, all my dairy cattle inventory are in here. I didn't click feed, but you can see that it's our experience that shows through. There's all kinds of feed that you're going to need to feed your animals, and as well as fertilizer and fuel parts, etc., for the cash crop component of your operation. So if we flip over to the income section of the chart of accounts, you can see there's wheat and corn sales, and soybean and milk sales. Like everything is ready to go. Um, Most people then ask me, well, can I add another account or another um, section? That's totally easy. You can add a category, you can add an expense to a group. It's just very intuitive. We've developed this. You could tie it to the tax forms. It's really, do you use HST on the account? Yes or no? What business percentage? So I'm scratching the surface here, but I can get into stuff with the questions. Um, so those are the main things. So first of all, setting up your chart of accounts, and we've just done that as I'm talking. It could have been done faster, but we're about 7 minutes in. The next step, there's
There are some questions in the chat.
okay.
Number one, does it work well with like an Apple device or other devices, I guess?
Absolutely. So that used to be an issue with our desktop software. This is now browser based. So if you can go on the internet with an Apple or, an IBM or a Microsoft product, you can get to where I am immediately. So that becomes a non-issue now. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay. And then is there a category and criteria for apiculture?
Um, So if there's not one, so rather than clicking those things, you can just bypass those and actually start and then just add the individual accounts because most of these accounts will still be there. It's just not maybe specific to apiculture, but that is something that we want to add into the future. So I hope that answers the question.
And then there's another one. I'll go to the end of it. How do I enter a patronage credit from a supplier? So I guess it's from his local co-op. They
Yeah.
rebate at the end of the year.
So questions like that, the nice thing is with premium, so up in the top right corner, there's a question mark and you have full support. So we have a gang of about 12 here. I shouldn't say gang, a group of people here that answer this type of question all day long. And so I would prefer not to get into like nitty gritty details like that, but our support staff is there to answer those immediately. Um,
Okay. And
yeah.
then one last one that I have right now that just came in. Oh, and then another one. Oh, they're coming in. I'm telling you. Can we import invoices from other iCloud programs such as Speed Invoice?
So not yet. So I'll show we do have a few integrations, but Speed Invoice is not one of them yet.
Okay. And then to follow up on the Apple question, you mentioned an associated app.
Mhm.
Does that work on iPhones, Apple iPads?
Yes.
Okay.
So right at the bottom here, so either at the Apple Store or the Google Store, yep, you just download that, you put in your same username, password, and yeah, I'll talk about a few cool features here in a bit. But
And can you use it as well as like offline, online?
so this one has to be online.
Okay.
Our field program, there is an app for the field program when I get to it, and it does have an offline feature on it because if you're at a far pasture, a far field that doesn't have cell service, but the program itself to be you need to be on the internet. So
Okay. And that's all that's in there right now. So we'll wait for the next blast of messages.
that's totally okay. Thanks and keep them coming. I want to answer your questions by being here. So I did want to go back to the chart of accounts. And I mentioned that, okay, now that you have your chart of accounts and your accountant gives you back your numbers from last year, there's a button here that says set opening balances. And this is where, so ask your accountant for your year-ending trial balance. And then you just go through, because your trial balance is just a summary of all your closing balances that your accountant has approved and said, yep, this is what we're going to file for taxes. And so entering in that final trial balance then is your starting point for the year. And this balances to retained earnings. So, you're able to, in this one screen, just enter all your numbers in and kind of save, and that'll kind of set you off, on the right track to start recording your transactions. So, so my next step that I would recommend, so set up your farm, set up your chart of accounts. I would, since we were already talking about it, download the mobile app. And that mobile app for accounting only does one thing right now. What it does is you can take pictures of your invoices, and they then show up in this pending transactions folder. So I'm going to switch to just another farm. You'll see me go through this once in a while. So with the premium membership, you can actually have up to 5 businesses set up. So if you have a company and you're personal and you're doing the soccer club books, well, you could do the soccer club books on this as well. So 5 businesses. So if I'm switching through, I'm just going through the 5 businesses that this account holds. And so it's not this one, it's this one. So what I recommend is getting the app and then start to take pictures. What the pictures do is save time. So rather than waiting till the end of the month or mid-year to be collecting all these invoices, and they've sat in your pocket, and you can barely read them anymore, because we know we all have them. I was actually showing this to a group of farmers 3 weeks ago, and they go, yeah, it's not creased enough. You can still read it. So I do know that this is just a reality. There's invoices in pickup trucks. They fly out with the wind. But the solution, though, really is, if you're at Princess Auto, if you're at the dealership and you're paying an invoice, just snap a picture of it right away. You'll A, have much better quality, and B, then you don't actually have to carry this invoice anymore. Because about a month and a half ago, I was doing a session and there was an accountant there, and one of the participants said, oh, do we still need the paper copies of invoices? And so I knew there was an accountant. So I turned the question over to them. And they actually said, well, when CRA does an audit, they usually have us scan all the invoices and then send it to them. So she goes, this is perfectly fine for a CRA audit. So just letting you know. The other thing I want to show you about this screen is, so even if it's creased and it's hard to read, it is still picking up that there's 2 things here. We are training the AI right now to be better. I will open up a different one. Just open this one to see. So this is just a random fuel bill. So all they need to do is choose a supplier, choose which bank account you want to pay that invoice from, or the credit card. This is probably a credit card. Choose what the expense is. So I'll just go to fuel, auto fuel. So it is looking for the HST. It's calculated it. User entered no tax amount. This is actually one. Oh, and it's added HST. So anyway, the intent here is what I'm trying to tell you is we can, you'll complete this as you need. You'll put in the supplier, I'll just it's the co-op, and we'll get this to if I hit 0. Oh yeah, so this balances it out, and then you'll just need to add the HST, $30.48. Again, I'm not the specialist like the support people are. I'm just dangerous and no farming and no accounting. And I'm trying to show that, you know what, you enter this in so that it's balanced according to how you need to put it in. You do need to put HST, and that is why that goes there. I'll have to just report this bug that it seems to be a little wonky on this particular one, but the intent being the images are going to stay with the transaction for the life of as long as you have this program. You can also go down and review because some of you are going, well, that's way too simple. You only added one. And here is the rest of the entry. So fuel and oil, oh, and there should be an HST as well. I'm going to put in, so there, it's putting in the HST. You can add notes to this, was in the city picking up parts or whatever. If there's a note to be put, hit save and close, and that transaction is done. It is out of balance, but like I say, I'm just gonna check that out. View the original. So these attachments all stay there. There is another way of importing. So let's say you get an email with an invoice and so instead of taking a picture of that, you can just go new transaction, upload files. So you can then just take it from your email, drag it into here, and it'll do the same thing. The AI will try and read as much as possible, and it'll be part of a transaction that you're going to use to record it. So rather than, when they're emailed now, it is a bit annoying that we have to save it to our computer and then upload it. Here you can just take it straight from your email and upload it straight into this upload files drag and drop. So another nice feature. Yeah, did you have a few more questions or we're good to?
There are.
Okay.
So is there a way to see report balances, account balances? Like, sorry, see reports or account balances from the app?
Apps or from the app? No.
Yeah. No,
In
okay.
the software like this, there's a whole reports section where you can see everything from accounts payable, balance sheet, net worth, income and expense. So we have a full suite of reports here, but just not on the app.
Okay. Is there an import tool that you can is there an import tool for switching from other softwares for history purposes? So like QuickBooks in order to keep history that they already have.
Yeah, it's probably the most common question, and it is in front of we are looking at what can be done. Anyways, there's some things that we're looking at to do that. Is it going to be ready in a month or two? No, this is more of a long-term thing. So, um, QuickBooks, just like us, they're a business and they're not readily willing to share everything, but we are looking at ways to improving that.
Okay. I guess there was someone that actually had a question that they went to support for about the patronage credit and um, they didn't know how to enter that transaction. So just for your own support team, I guess.
Okay. If there's time at the end, there is a cheat, or not a cheat, but so in this questions, there's an online community. And this looks like a lot, but just go to AgExpert Accounting and if you look through here, actually, so recording patronage. So there are articles of how to do that. So anyway, I won't get into too many details, but there are ways. And if not, call back or, there's ways of doing it for sure. And the other one too is, as the software specialists here, we're not the accountant. So sometimes the accountant is the person that you may want to ask, just so that it's recorded in the right way for them too. Because yeah,
Okay. Does the photo capture of the receipts also capture the date of their transaction? Can we load in a month set of receipts and it puts in the date automatically?
yeah, it does. I was looking through another one that this enterprise where it does it did actually pick up the date, but all that to say though is the AI, what we're scraping from this is called optical character recognition. We're teaching it to be better. So what you see right now, it's picking out the reasons, it's picking out the amount, it's picking out the invoice number, but it's still not quite perfect. And that I'm being told is going to be released this summer. But here's an opportunity. If someone would like to be a tester, so we are looking for testers to take pictures and actually test the system to make sure that it's working properly for the summer. So I'll leave that open. If you want to message Joanne, then she can bundle it up and send me. We are looking for testers, and there's no obligation. You can test as many or not as many as you like. So just putting it out there.
Okay, I'm just going to put my email in the chat there.
Sorry, I
Is
didn't
there-
discuss this ahead with you, but
No, that's fine. Um, there was one about PDF. Okay, so will there be an opportunity for the pictures of receipts and invoices to be in PDF format?
yeah, that's a good question. As of right now, so if I go sales and upload files, so each updated file, maximum 20 files at a time, so it can be PDF, bump. Anyway, all of these are accepted. Does that help?
Um, Probably, I think so.
Okay,
If not, Chris asked the question, so maybe he'll have a follow-up. I'm not sure.
great.
So Sarah
Can
says,
I clarify?
oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry. I know I can drag a PDF over, but if we want to take pictures, or usually on your phone you can scan PDFs, but it doesn't allow you to scan a PDF for AgExpert this way. So I just wondered if that would ever be an opportunity. So when we scan our invoices, our receipts, it goes from our phones as PDFs because right now it doesn't do that.
Okay. So I don't know if I spoke to you already in Toronto, but I've had this question before and I've asked it to the developers. And the way the developers have explained it to me is that the way they've developed their upload files, they are storing it in the most efficient way possible. So I will bring the question back, to them but the way they've explained it to me is that this is the most efficient way that AgExpert, because we're the ones storing your data, and so I hope that helps in their response. But that's what I've been told from a developer standpoint.
So another question is when I upload a picture, it ends up in withdrawals or payable payment. Is there a way to direct the picture to go in one or the other?
Yeah. So how that works uh, here. So this little expense, it's probably guessing right now that it's not going to the right place. So you can just make this a capital asset purchase. You can make it whatever you need just by adjusting that. I hope that makes sense.
And then can you do a comparison to QuickBooks? Usually just do a new year, new program.
Yeah, I'm the last person. I don't want to bash any other company. QuickBooks is, you know, an effective software, but I know that they are slowly not supporting the desktop anymore. We still do have a desktop. They are actually significantly more expensive than us. And this is designed for agriculture. I guess if there's a way that I think is the biggest selling feature, this is just designed for agriculture. There's a whole inventory module. If I want to adjust quantity, value, transfer inventory, this is all here. For those of you who are very brave, there's an advanced inventory section that you can actually work on your agri-stability worksheets right in the program as well. So it's not for everyone. I know accountants charge a fair amount of money for agri-stability, and if someone wants to do it right in AgExpert, they can. Um, I'll go a little bit. Or is any more questions? Or
There's one more and then one. Ugh, they keep on coming in.
that's
We may
totally okay.
actually, yeah, I just don't, I want to make sure that you have enough time to get through what you need to get through, first of
Yeah,
all. But
bank accounts. That's the one I can see in front of me. So bank accounts,
yeah.
yes. So if you go to bank accounts, you can connect straight to your bank. There are two ways. Plaid is the default, so please use that first. There's the odd credit union, and um, there's a bank. Yeah, if it's not working 100% for you, we do have another option. It's called Flinks. Both are working very well. When one doesn't work with one, it works with the other. AgExpert is actually paying for this. So there's no extra cost to connect to your bank account. It does bring it in. I don't have a bank account connected here, but it'll say last updated on, and it just brings in your transactions. Now it brings in your transactions, but it doesn't just throw the stuff into the right category. They're going to go in this pending transaction. So my word of warning is when, if you want to hook up your bank account and take a bunch of pictures, you're going to have a whole lot of transactions there. And so, sometimes it's better to, okay, let's just take pictures, or let's just import from the bank or the credit card and, maybe change one thing at a time. But that's totally up to you. Some people like to just jump in and go. The tool is there for that.
Okay. So how can I clean up or reset my inventory figures?
Yeah. So in the inventory section, so let's just adjust quantity of the hard red wheat. So into wheat. So this showing 250 tons. So I'm going to type of adjustment, decrease inventory. And there's actually 200 tons, not 250. So I'm going to decrease it by that. As of December 31st, I hit save, and now there's 200 tons of wheat there. So yeah, that, in my opinion, I hope that answers the question, but it's just a matter of adjusting it in that way as of whatever date that you're looking for. I hope that answers the question. And I did just see the next question too. Can I pay directly from AgExpert? Not yet, but it is that is coming next year. So we are looking at making payments and payroll straight out of AgExpert. Not available as of today. Um, yeah, I do want to touch on a few more things here. So taxes, HST, you can actually net file straight to the CRA. So that is another advantage of AgExpert. You can just create a net file return and send it in instead of waiting till year end, or if you're on monthly or quarterly or annually, This can accommodate either. There's a section here about business information where you put in your HST number and you can choose however often that you're required. And that's where, when it creates a net file return, it'll just ship it straight off to to CRA, not to us. Not much I can do with that, but so there's that. The other so my Farm Connect. So I do want to show, so AgExpert, we're in the business of, we want to really save time for you, and we want to make it easy for partners to be able to share with us. So this is when you'll recognize, if you're an FCC customer, you can actually upload your net worth statement straight from AgExpert to FCC. These are all add-ons that you can choose. You don't have to use any of them, but it is something that you can choose. For those who are Ag Connection customers through Solio or some Agromarts, you can actually connect with Ag Connection and have all your invoices shoot straight into AgExpert. So just another advantage there. Huge time saver. The other thing I like to share is the actual sharing. So this file here, I'm not sharing with anyone. So if I wanted to, so what used to happen with the desktop software is you had to do a backup, you had to make an appointment with your accountant, you had to bring it into town, give them the stick, him or her. Now, if I'm sharing with my accountant, I just need his or her email address and giving them the access type of accountant. And as soon as I hit send, I actually have shared with them the access for this account. So if I hit send, just gonna say content, send. So I've shared it with myself as an accountant, but your accountant can then go straight into your file whenever you choose. The nicest thing to me about sharing is that some people like to share with the accountant at year end and then just cancel, but the control is in your hands. If this screen has no one in it, you're not sharing with anyone. If you are, then it'll show up here, but the control is in your hand. You can cancel this just as quickly as we've sent it. The other nice thing about the sharing feature is if you have an employee on your farm, so employee for accounting, what this does is it just gives them access to the app, but they can't get into your file or do anything else. So if you want them to have this on their phone, so that when they're in town picking up parts or whatever it is that they're picking up, it's a huge time saver. But don't worry, you've only given them an employee accounting access. And so if they try and log into your account, they can't. So yeah, I can explain more. Essentially, they have to create their own email address, a free account. And so there's no cost to them. And then you just go in and share, the farm account with your employee, and that's how that's done. So that's another really nice feature that we've added lately. Other than that, this is another feature that we've just added. So it's a transaction search. And so if you're looking for a transaction, you can just start typing in the number or the supplier. So it's kind of a Google search for all of your transactions. It is limited to the year, but this is something that a lot of customers ask us about, and it's a beautiful feature. It just came out lately here, but those are kind of some of the highlights I wanted to cover for accounting. Yeah. So unless there's some burning questions,
There are, again, a couple in the
yep,
chat. I'm currently using the older AgExpert analysis software.
yep.
How can I transfer my books into the newer style software?
So you would sign up for an account, and then you would go business information. And where I showed you payrolls and taxes, it's the next tab over, AgExpert Analyst Import. So you would download a migration tool, find the account, and it'll do the work in the background. It probably takes about 20 minutes. And then all of your information is in this version now.
Okay, and then there's, I think, one more. If we use a connection, can it keep track of products purchased and put those inventory? Pull those
Excellent
inventory?
question. Not yet, automatically. Right now, it's, but you could, depending on how you put the entry, but when your invoice comes in, it's going to record that. But, and it's an expense if you've actually put it in the ground already. But if you wanted to put it in inventory, you can just do it in that transaction itself. So hopefully that answers your question. It comes in as a picture. And again, just like I showed before, you do have to go in and treat that transaction as you wish. And so if it's the middle of winter, you want to pop it in inventory, but it's not going to do it automatically. You just have to choose it.
Okay, that's everything in the chat right now. Currently, we're caught up. Lots of questions, lots of questions.
I really enjoy questions, so thank you for all of those. I am going to switch to field. So AgExpert Accounting and AgExpert Field. So there is no, animals app. But there is a field app. So for all the cash crops, this is specifically designed for that. How this works, it's field-based record keeping. And so for those, I'll jump into who have, so Climate Field View or John Deere or Swap Maps or Case or New Holland. You can just log into those accounts and download your fields, download your activities straight from those softwares. But I'll show you in a second here that that's one way of doing it. It does save time. But for people like me who don't subscribe to any of those, adding a field is takes literally, so I'm just going to draw, and I'm going to choose Guelph. I want to see where I live. So Guelph, and I'm just going to draw a little picture because let's imagine that that's by field. So Guelph 99 is the name of the field. There's 34 acres in there. The more I play with this, it'll adjust the total area. Is it owned or rented? I'll just say owned. This does bring in the legal land description. This irrigation data, I have something else clicked off, so you can have it or you don't have to have it either. But Guelph 99 is the new field that I've added. And then from there, so in the wintertime, you can add your fields in. The next step is to add activities. So it is the middle of December. So actually, I'm going to, I can actually plan it out or just plant. Let's be really crazy here. So I planted corn today. I choose my seeding rate. Every variety of corn that is available in Canada is in here. I can add fertilizer, my corn fertilizer, whatever rate that I need to put it in as. It's showing 1 degree with the rain. So anyway, I'm being really crazy and doing something not as designed, but I can add what equipment I use. I can add Elton John or whoever is working on the farm that day just to build a cost of production. So I'm just going to hit save here. Broadcast, save here. So this new field that I just added, I added a planting activity The value really is, just going to go to this Hickson farm here and go into 2025. So every time you go into that field to do soil test, till, fertilize, spray, you can record it in AgExpert. The mobile app for AgExpert is even stronger than the accounting app. So pretty much everything you can do here, you can also do on the app. And so you're scouting, you're doing any of those things, you can just record it on the app, and it takes literally seconds. So, how much? So essentially, so every year that you have this field, you can have a crop rotation just to see what you planted every year. You can also keep track of the crop protection products that you've used. This one's a little heavy on the group 9s. But the real value comes, and this is not the best data, but in the inputs. So what did the soybean, the seed cost you? What did the fertilizer cost you? What did the crop protection products, the equipment? This is meant to be a cost of production tool. You can also bring in fixed costs, fuel, application, land rent, all of these expenses. You can actually tie these straight in from accounting. This is why there's a link to accounting here. So you can bring in expenses that are actually incurred from accounting straight in to build your cost of production. So from there, so this time of year, so there's two more things, profitability. So on each field, if I had entered all the costs and stuff, but it shows, so this Hickson farm field, 100 acres, total input cost, other costs, other revenue, sale price. This is picking up from the actual contracts that are brought in, but it's giving you an in the moment, cost of production. So these are not great numbers, but it is a tool that's giving you in the moment cost of production. So that's, I am going a bit fast because I want to get as much as possible in. Another part about AgExpert, so it tracks your inventory. So if you remember from this field here, I showed you in 2025, there's a harvest activity. You can actually, so it made 2 tons per acre. And where it went is actually in bin 1 and bin 2. So you actually, from a harvest activity, you can track which bins your crop went into. If I go into inventory and look at storage locations, you actually add them in the same way as you would add your fields. You actually pin each of your storage location and say how many tons it can hold. Yeah. So I'll hit save here. The next thing you add is contracts. And so we've actually added some smarts to this. You can actually upload contracts and just the way they are, and it'll convert it into a contract in AgExpert. You can actually add after that your delivery slips. So everything we built here is to help save you time and money and be a more efficient farmer, because I understand I'd rather be farming and working on the land than doing the bookwork, but we're trying to make the bookwork and record keeping as painless as possible so that it can help you, be more efficient with your time. Yeah, and so the nice thing about that is, so once you enter a contract and your delivery slips, so the delivery slips, you can actually take it out of that bin number 2 or bin number 1 and, have an actual running balance of your inventory, which looks like this. So on the home screen, it's showing there's soybeans in there. Dark blue line is actually contracted inventory. The green line is not contracted. So when you're doing up contracts, yeah, this, I'm always looking at this when I'm talking to my marketing or, grain market purchasers. Any questions?
There are a few in the chat.
Okay.
So are pictures saved or just numbers? So I'm assuming we're going back to when you're taking pictures of your receipts.
Yeah, pictures are saved and they become part of the transaction. So if you're actually in an income and expense statement or a balance sheet, you can actually click straight through to the invoice, as many as there are. So
Okay. What about if you're a livestock operation? Any,
yeah, so a livestock operation, so we don't have a livestock portion, we just have field and accounting. But I will show you one thing because this is kind of my favorite. It's one of the oldest. It's one of the oldest, but it's one of the best because I'm sure everyone knows that equipment is super crazy right now. But this is actually a bit of a how would you say, maintenance minder for each of your pieces of equipment. So you enter them in, you put the serial number in so that when you're at the dealership, you can have that at the top of your hand. But every time you do something to your piece of equipment, it's being recorded in AgExpert. I know some people who have employees, and this is, equipment's very expensive now. And so I want to show that so that even dairy and even livestock people, this is still a useful feature for any of us. So
okay, this one is an interesting question from Brian. For perennial orchard crops, do you need to, in quotations, replant the crop each year, or is there a way to keep running year to year?
So that has been an issue, but they are in the next release. I think that's going to be solved. There'll be a way to click perennial, and then you won't have to plant that anymore. So that has been an issue, and so thanks for no, thanks for bringing it up. But they are fixing it right away.
It says also, do you need to have payroll running to capture labor costs?
No, no. Accounting can take care of all the payroll, but if you have contacts on the accounting side, those contacts will come over to the field side. And what it does is it'll bring up whatever you're paying them. So if they spend 3 hours in a field, that gets added into the cost of production. So it's not necessarily linked to all the payroll information, but so hope that can help.
Okay. Can it be used for crop share?
Yeah, we are looking at a better module for crop share, but at the end of the day, printing off, you can always export what's happened in your field. Oh, should I go to, this is my other go-to here, but you can always export what's happened in the field. I'm actually going to go to an older one, hit print. See financial information. And it's going to spell out everything with the costs, and then you could always export this to Excel and then put in the crop share portions after that. I know it's a workaround, but when we're working on something better, but that's what I've been told works really well. So
Okay. And we have two more questions, and we might have to limit it to that because there's 5 minutes left, and you may have a few closing comments. Um, is there an employee entering portal with no financials? I think you
So
kind of
for
already.
accounting, yes. For field, not quite yet. So what you're sharing, so when you share access, you can choose administrator, actually, or just field. So there is a way to just share field, add new, because when you share field, you don't necessarily share accounting. So you would just choose field record administrator, but yeah, there's no field employee yet. That is something, but it's probably, I would guess, about a year away. So
Okay. Does it work for vegetable crops as well, or just cash crop?
absolutely. We're actually looking for feedback to make it better for vegetable crops. But all of the vegetable varieties available in Canada are all in here as well. So
Okay, so there's no more questions, and I think we'll cut it off there anyway.
Okay.
If you want to like wrap it up, that would be great.
Yeah, no, I actually recognized a few of my colleagues on here as well. But no, if you have any questions, they can, you can share with you, and then you can share me as many questions as you want. I love doing these. I love talking about agriculture and learning about agriculture across Canada. It is a good software. We use it on our farm. I think it's a great tool that, and you're getting 20% off. I will repeat that one more time. The promo code is just AgExpert, OFA, all one word, and that gets you 20%. So I wish you all the best in the upcoming crop season here. And if there's anything, I will be at the Chatham Farm Show and probably the Ottawa Valley and this winter here. And by all means, there's always a way to contact me, and I hope I've answered most of your questions today.
Okay, and then there's just a question about rewatching this meeting, and so we will have it uploaded on our OFA Zoom, or sorry, YouTube channel, and then it will also be on our OFA website. If you go under resources and webinars, it'll be also linked in there. So as long as, well, when we get this downloaded, so just give us a day or two. Perfect. I think that's everything, and we're pretty much right on the mark at 12:58. So thank you so much. This was great. A lot of questions. Love it. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to send me a message, Joanne Hughes at ofa.on.ca. I'll just write that in the chat. I did earlier. Um, and I can slip them off to Laurier, especially if you're looking to be a tester. And I did see someone, Ian Grant, had said that he was wanting to be a tester. He wrote in the chat earlier. So that's great. Thank you so much. We're very happy to have you as a OFA member benefit. Um, this type of program is very useful for our members.
Excellent. Thanks for hosting, and yeah, have a great day. We'll talk to you again.